Yo, and Happy New Year, gang! Welcome back to the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV. It's an all new year. We're all hoping for the best, but if you were hoping for anything new and exciting as WWE gave us their first show of 2021, you are going to be greatly disappointed. It was much more of the same old song and dance from SmackDown, continuing their suck down ways, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now for the first time this year. So let's get to it. My name is Nick Nightmare. You are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's SmackDown review and reaction show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Let's do it. Bang.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
I guess it was Teddy Long Appreciation Night, player. Because we were just bombarded with tag team match after tag team match. And then the only thing that continues to be even remotely interesting on SmackDown continues to be the rivalry that is ongoing between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. But that has also kind of plateaued and has come to a place where we're just seeing the same shit over and over and over again. And while they are delivering and they're being very physical and their promo work is very good, it's still much ado about nothing because nothing is progressing. Everything is staying the same. And we're going to end SmackDown tonight with a main event that we have seen a bunch of times already. So let me ask you a question. We're going to throw this question out to you guys. You can answer me in the comments below. It's a very simple question. It's not that complicated. If you were running a professional wrestling show and you had some of the best talent in the world and your team came up to you and gave you a card that consisted of 4 tag team matchups and then a main event which is just a rehash of the shit you've been doing for the last month with these guys, are you going to fire these people or not? Because I certainly would, especially when you take into account the type of tag team matches they wanted to give us tonight on SmackDown. 4 tag team matches which featured 8 teams. 8 teams, but only 2 of which are actual legitimate tag teams. 2 out of 8 selections. And then to make it even worse, none of these tag team matches had any implications or any importance placed upon them at all. None of them had anything to do with creating a new and cohesive tag team division. And it did not even get anybody a shot at a tag team championship because they were all makeshift teams thrown together to further some other stupid storyline that has nothing to do with tag team wrestling. So on paper, when you look at it, you're going to think, wow, this is a tag team spectacular. You might have gotten away with it if you actually did it with real tag teams. Why am I watching Daniel Bryan and Otis being managed by Chad Gable facing off against Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, who were the only legitimate male tag team used on the show tonight, and they lose? They lose, and this doesn't even get anybody a number 1 contender shot. All it got was a really old and dated reference from back in the late 1980s. You think about 60% of the viewing audience tonight got the joke of Daniel Bryan and Otis and Chad Gable doing the little skit from the Three Amigos? Does that sound familiar to you? If you're under the age of 35, probably not. Because you probably don't even know who Steve Martin or Martin Short or whoever the hell else was in that movie with them is. And there was a little skit where they're these 3 guys and they're pretending to be from Mexico and they do this whole little Olay thing. It's like, bim, bim, and then the whole little dance move. They did it for you on SmackDown tonight. Did you get it? Of course not, because you're not old enough to get it. Because this is written by a senile old man who is so outdated, even his jokes are lame. It's just terrible. It's terrible writing and nothing makes sense. The actual tag team champions wanted to do a smoke of the year thing. I don't know, 2021, bringing in the year because we want the smoke, whatever the hell it's called. I'll remember when I go through my notes again. But all they did was establish their new challengers by having the same two idiots that have already lost to them a bunch of times, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, show up and beat the snot out of them in the middle of their little, comedy segment. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, they're tired of the Street Profits making fun of them and telling jokes at their expense. And apparently they think that they are worthy of a tag team championship match because of this, and also because they finally got themselves an actual name for their team. But if you don't want to be made fun of by the Street Profits and you don't want people to continue to disrespect you, the first thing that would go a long way in helping that be accomplished for these guys is not naming your team the Dirty Dogs. The Dirty Dogs! We're a couple of dirty dogs! What the fuck does that even mean? Who came up with that? Why would you want to be a dirty dog? I mean, I would understand maybe if they both went to the same college, maybe like Georgetown or something that has a dog for a mascot, and maybe they were part of the Dirty Dog Squad from 1992's championship winning team. No, it's nothing like that. I don't know where it came from. And they have a fucking t-shirt and everything with two fucking dog heads on it, and it says the Dirty Dogs on it. And I want to know what the big dog is saying about this. Don't we have enough reasons for Michael Cole to say the word dog? Now he's going to be saying, here come the Dirty Dogs. What, are they going to team them up with Roman Reigns eventually? So we'll have the big dog and the Dirty Dogs and the J Dog and the Paul Heyman dog. Is everybody just going to be a dog now? Talk about lacking originality. Talk about sucking at coming up with names. This is something that has been the MO of WWE over the last couple of years. I mean, come on, we got Teabag, Mush, and Slapnuts for Retribution, which is a terrible name too for a faction, and now we got the Dirty Dogs on SmackDown. They would have been better off calling themselves Rudolph the Red-Nosed Wrestlers. I would have accepted that over the Dirty Dogs. Sounds like talking like a pirate. I, you scurvy dirty dogs. Come on, man. This is the glorious Bobby Roode. He's being brought down by Dolph Ziggler, who's a relic from the early noughties, who needs to go away. It's over. Guys like him and The Miz, and they just need to go away. There's no space for the new guys to come up and do anything cool when you guys are taking up all the spots. I don't mind Bobby Roode. He never even got his real moment to shine. Now he lost his theme song. He gets a stupid new partner who's been a proverbial loser on the WWE roster for the last 2 years, just a glorified jobber, but now he's a dirty dog. And it's gonna be okay, I guess. I don't know. You want to keep talking about tag team nonsense? One of the worst things that happened tonight was not just the Riot Squad facing off against the loser squad of Natalya and Tamina, but the better of the two women's tag team matches. Yes, there were two women's tag team matches tonight. Featured the women's champion, Sasha Banks, being teamed up with the EST of the WWE, Bianca Belair, to take on Bayley and Carmella, who are not a legitimate female tag team. Sasha Banks and Bianca are not a legitimate tag team. But this match is happening because, feuds, and Sasha versus Carmella and Bayley versus Belair. And so we're going to put them in a tag team and we're going to have this match. And the match, as far as the wrestling goes, it was not bad. It was actually pretty good, except for any time that our False got involved. R-Truth's doppelganger, Reginald. They even had to give him a fucking name with an R because they just want him to be a different R-Truth for Carmella. So our fake, our false, whatever we want to call him this week, he has to be around there and get his shots in and, just bring the whole entire match down. But to make it exceedingly worse, was the fact that Carmella and Bayley won this matchup. And not only that, but Sasha Banks, the champion, was the one that got pinned by a woman she's already beaten in a championship situation. She successfully defended her belt against Carmella, but instead of doing something interesting like having the miscommunication between Bianca and Sasha, causing Bianca to be the next challenger in line, or at least start something like that, we just got Carmella pinning Sasha. Now she's going to claim that she deserves another shot at the championship, and what makes it even worse is that Bianca Belair now gets another L on her record. She gets another check in the loss column. And for what? And for what? She didn't even lose that match. The champion actually lost the match for her, and she has not been being booked well at all, despite the tremendous athletic ability she shows in the ring, and despite how entertaining her matches and her wrestling might be. I don't think they're doing right by Bianca Belair. I don't think they're doing right by anybody on this show. Let's talk about the entire show now that I got my little vent out. We're going to be spitting venom at some of this shit again along the way, but let's start talking about this show up and down. It started out just like any usual Friday nights in the last couple of months. Roman Reigns comes out. He cuts an excellent promo talking about how 2020 was a real shit year for all of us, but it didn't make a difference to him because he's the head of the table and he makes shit work. And 2020 was, in fact, a very good year for Roman Reigns when all is said and done. He says he elevates the people around him. Everything he does turns to greatness. Jey Uso is a great representation of that. He's been main event Jey. He's been in about 10 main events since this has happened, and he's won, what, like 2, 3 of them? He's gotten great main event exposure, but he's been losing a lot lately. Tonight, that trend would not stop, as he would lose again to Kevin Owens. But Kevin Owens was taking offense to all of this, and he came out, of course, and wanted to say his piece. Roman Reigns was pissed off about this. Kevin Owens pointed out how Jey Uso helped Roman Reigns, and if it wasn't for him, that Kevin Owens would probably be the Universal Champion. And he's not here for Roman today, he's here for Jey Uso again. And then he promised he was going to have that match made. The opening segment was just fine. It's just more of the same. It's like watching the same episode over and over. And even though it wasn't terrible, it's getting repetitive. And we all know how it's going to end. So it seems somewhat pointless. But at least for the most part, I was invested because the promo work by these two guys here has been top notch. All kidding aside, it was really great stuff. Big E defeating Sami Zayn last week is a good thing, but the way they went about it is terrible. Having it in that lumberjack match really brought down the importance and the excitement for Big E. There's no reason why he shouldn't have been able to go in there and have a great match with Sami Zayn, win it legitimately without any shenanigans going on the outside, so his first reign would just be solid. No controversy, nobody claiming to be able to have helped him get it, or any stupid shit like we're about to see tonight. So tonight we get the Intercontinental Champion Big E in his first match. It's not a title defense, thankfully so, against Constable King Dickhead and the Knights of the Lame Wolf. And I don't know why this is happening, but, you know, it's a match, right? But it doesn't last long before they Teddy Long all over the place and turn this into a tag team matchup because Sami Zayn came out to interfere, causing Big E to get the win via disqualification because, you know, God forbid we pin Corbin's shoulders to the mat. The old man will have a fucking heart attack. It was just starting to develop before anything really got interesting, and then it became a tag team match. Big E, for some reason, got Apollo Crews as his partner tonight, because the New Day is on the other show, the rest of the New Day. King Corbin and Sami Zayn teamed up. 2 makeshift tag teams. Nothing about storytelling happening here. Nothing to help the tag team division. Nothing about the tag team championships. All this was a way for them to, I don't know, get Apollo Crews to have a match with Big E next week and have it maybe kind of sort of make sense because they were involved in a segment this week. It just came out of the friggin' blue. And after Big E and Apollo Crews defeated King Corbin and Sami Zayn, there's a little interview segment in the back where Kayla Braxton's like, oh, well, what's your plans for the new year, Big E? And Big E's like, I'm gonna have myself an open challenge, because what does the WWE do when they don't know what the hell to do with their champion? They have him issue an open challenge. And before we even get to next week and the issuance of said open challenge, Apollo Crews is standing right next to him, and he's like, I'll take that challenge. And I'm sitting here like, well, that's kind of not how this is supposed to work. And it would have been much more effective had you had him come out next week, announce his open challenge, and have the guy that partnered up with him this week be the one to come out. Everybody would have been like, oh, I didn't see that coming. We would have expected it to be Sammy or Corbin, and you could have thrown the curveball with Apollo Crews. It still wouldn't have made sense. I still would have shit all over it next week, and we definitely would have brought the poop hammer down on it, because it is worthy of it, just like this whole segment is worthy of the first of many poop hammers on the night tonight. This entire show was a giant poop hammer, if we're being honest about things. Let's call a spade, or let's call a turd, if we're going to be more accurate. So now next week, we're going to have Apollo Crews versus Big E for the Intercontinental Championship. For reasons. I don't know. They got heels fighting heels on Raw. We might as well have the faces fighting faces on SmackDown. There's only about 4 faces on the show anyway in its entirety, so we might as well get them all out in one segment. I don't know. Can you think of another reason? Because I definitely can't. We talked about this briefly, and it's not going to take us much more time to talk about it again. The Riot Squad, who has been on like a winning streak as of late, defeated Natalya and Tamina, who had Billie Kay in their corner. But Billie Kay was doing this fucking thing where she was like switching her allegiance from one team to the other, and it just made her even more annoying than usual. And I struggle with the thought process here. Well, you know, Tamina lost with Billie Kay as her tag team partner. Natalya lost with Billie Kay as her tag team partner. So let's take those 2 losers, put them together, and have them go out and lose to the Riot Squad tonight. The Riot Squad that has been pretty hot as of late and were excluded from the Women's Tag Team Championship match that they definitely should have been a part of. They should be moving towards a program to be facing off against the Women's Tag Team Champions, but that's definitely not happening because they're wasting their time beating the snot out of the catering section of the women's division, and it's just god awful. This match was completely unnecessary. They spent more time focused on Billie Kay and her big mouth, her annoying screaming at ringside, that even Michael Cole was like, hey, maybe we should cut the mics on the outside of the ring because this girl is just too much. And if Michael Cole, the most annoying person in broadcast television, thinks you're annoying, then man, you must really be bad. And for most of us, we feel that way about the voice of Billie Kay just piercing through our eardrums. It was a little distracting. It was really stupid. And the losers lost, as you would expect they would. The Riot Squad get themselves another win. Billie Kay tried to celebrate with them, you know, because she's flip-flopping. But they decided to just walk off. Then they talked about the women's tag team elimination match from last week, which was the last time we seen these next 2 women's teams in action thrown together for a championship opportunity instead of the actual team that's been winning on SmackDown lately. But we talked about this again. This was a very decent match because Bianca Belair is talented as fuck. Sasha Banks is great. Bayley is very good. And Carmella was there too. So this match happened, and Carmella pinned the champ, and Bianca Belair gets another loss, and on we go. So I'm expecting with the Royal Rumble coming up Carmella's going to get another opportunity at Sasha Banks' SmackDown Women's Championship, and I am already extremely disinterested, especially when she comes out there with Reginald the Truth Part 2. No thanks. Roman Reigns was shown in the back, sitting on some fancy leather couches with his title on his shoulder. His cousin is next to him, and he's all pissed off that his cousin's been put in this match once again, because apparently he feels the same way that we do. Roman Reigns don't even want to see this match again. Why is it happening? Because Vince says so, that's why. Or because they just don't know what the hell to do, so they're just going to hit rinse and repeat like they always do. But he was pissed off. I thought it was weird. He wants Paul Heyman to find out who made the match official. Meanwhile, we all know, because we've seen Kevin Owens talking to Adam Pearce, the GM, who's not the GM, who's the GM of the show. So that's not a mystery that's going to be very hard to solve. After this, we had the surprise return of Sonya Deville. Great to see Sonya Deville back on TV. I'm very happy that her ordeal is somewhat over with. I'm sure she still has some things to finish up in her personal life to keep everything, safe for herself. But she's back, and all they had to write for her, the only thing they had for her, was her walking through the back past everybody who was just like shocked, like, oh look, it's Sonya. And you seen Big E, he's back there, he's looking, oh look, it's Sonya. Baron Corbin cares. Oh, it's Sonya. Oh look, everybody, it's Sonya. This was the most interesting thing they had to write for this girl's return. Why did she not come out to the ring during that tag team match and beat the snot out of Sasha Banks? Or beat the shit out of somebody? She just came back walking in her suit. Here I am. I'm back. I ain't got shit to do, but I'm here. I hope everybody's happy to see my face. And well, yes, I was very happy to see her face and to know that she's back at work doing what she loves to do, feeling secure enough to do so after her recent personal problems. I'm very excited about the prospect of her coming to the women's division. The fact that this is all they had does not shine a good light on what's coming in the future for Sonya Deville, who deserved a much better reintroduction to the WWE world than that. Absolutely, I don't want to say absolutely terrible, because it was great to see her, but they could have done much better here. At least, give us a reason to really care. Like, she's come back, and not only has she come back, but she's come back to do something. Apparently, she just came back to walk like John Travolta. Talk about a dated reference, right? You want to do Vince McMahon style. Oh, coming back like she's from Saturday Night's Fever, or whatever. I almost said Saturday Night's Main Event, but you know what I'm talking about. It just kind of lame. And Sonya Deville deserved better than that. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins were going to do their predictions for 2020 in the New Year's Day Smoke-tacular special. They wanted to talk about all their accomplishments. Angelo Dawkins is, and all over a drum set. He's playing the drums and shit. Montez Ford's all dressed up there, out there having fun, because now playing the part of the New Day on SmackDown, the Street Profits, the resident comedic tag team championship act. And then they got their ass tattooed by the Dirty Dogs, who came out in their new t-shirt and bit the shit out of them. And that was that. After they attacked the champions pretty viciously, I mean, it was kind of intense. They looked tough, but I just don't care. We've seen this before. Rude and Ziggler are probably one of my least favorite tag teams of all time, because I remember Bobby Roode when he was in a real tag team called Beer Money, which was fucking awesome, and this is nowhere near as good as that was. And then we see Kayla Braxton in the back. She approaches Rude and Ziggler, and they're demanding a rematch against the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, probably for the championships, and I'm disinterested. Daniel Bryan, let's just take one step back, and I want to explain to you guys. Daniel Bryan and Otis were paired together today because they were working out their hips together. Their hips, yeah, they were working out their hips. And there was footage of this workout, naturally. So they showed this workout footage, which had Daniel Bryan holding Otis from behind. You know, he had his hands wrapped around his big old beer gut. And he was, I guess, trying to back suplex him, but there was nowhere for him to go because they were so close to the corner, and Chad Gable was sitting up on the top turnbuckle and he's egging him on. And Daniel Bryan's pretty much just humping Otis. And Otis is digging it, and he's like, yeah, hump me. And all of it was turned into, well, no, they're practicing, you know, the jerking of your hips when you're doing a suplex. Getting your hips underneath yourself and, you know, all of that. And Cesaro and Nakamura, the sushi bar, shows up and they see these guys humping each other in the ring. And I had the volume really low, so I didn't hear what the transaction of words were, and I didn't care. All I know is they booked this matchup because the bad guys caught the good guys dry humping each other in the corner of a wrestling ring. 5-year-old Vince McMahon's favorite segment of the night. Guarantee he was back there laughing his wrinkly, old, disgusting balls right off of his kneecaps. You know, because they're hanging so low now, they're bouncing off the knees. Anyway, I shouldn't have to explain my disgusting jokes, and I shouldn't have to explain to you that this whole entire scenario is a disgusting joke. Where is it going to go? Shouldn't Daniel Bryan be, at this point, be at least somewhat placed in the direction of Roman Reigns, maybe getting involved in some way with Kevin Owens, you know, trying to help him out the way, you know, Jey Uso is there for Roman. Maybe Daniel should be there for KO, and, like, you can end up with them at WrestleMania the way it should be. Bryan versus Reigns, WrestleMania. That's the way it should go down. But instead, he's dry humping fat guys and doing the Three Amigos dance in the middle of the ring because reasons. I don't even know what to tell you guys anymore. And in fact, again, a terrible thing about this is Cesaro and Shinsuke, the Sushi Bar, two fantastic wrestlers, completely being underused. If I would have told you a few years ago that SmackDown in the year 2021 is going to have Daniel Bryan, Chad Gable, Cesaro, and Nakamura all involved in an angle, would you think it was going to be a comedy angle to try to put over Otis so that he could get his big old body over? I don't understand. Would you think you were going to see Daniel Bryan humping Otis? Being cheered on by Chad Gable? You wouldn't have thought that. You would have thought awesome wrestling matches. Maybe, you know, two great tag teams. No. Add Otis into the mix, and it immediately becomes a nonstop running joke. Although he did, and on the night we had a lot of very, very good tributes to Brody Lee. Once again, a lot of spinning lariats, a lot of people wearing the Brody Lee armband, like Sasha Banks and Daniel Bryan and countless others, which was always fun to see. It's always good to see that, you know, WWE won't let them, or at least won't show on network television that, you know, they care, but, you know, the wrestlers find a way to do it themselves. Paul Heyman finds Adam Pearce and tells Roman Reigns that Adam Pearce was the one that made the match. And Reigns told his cousin Jay to go out there and end Kevin Owens once and for all. He's trying to destroy everything we built. Go out there and end him. Pretty intense, right? And we go out there and we get a very good matchup once again, which is what we have seen constantly. Jey Uso rising to the occasion. Kevin Owens delivering once again a fantastic match as far as the wrestling is concerned. And then the post-match angle happened, and it just was really kind of dragged out. And this is just more of the same kind of stuff that we've seen already. Roman Reigns finally came out after Kevin Owens defeated Jay, handcuffed him to the ring, and continued to viciously attack him. He was attacking the knees, slamming it against the ring apron several times. Owens constantly screaming for Roman Reigns to come out. Where are you, Roman? This is your fault. Come on, Roman, get out here. Finally, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns end up battling. This battle spills out into the Thunderdome, in and around the screens, after he threw Kevin Owens around a little bit, and it was a very intense beatdown, assaulting him with chairs, and just really some vicious stuff from the big dog, not the dirty dogs, the big dog, and his little cousin. As we've seen for multiple weeks now, they viciously beat down Kevin Owens, throwing him off the stands through a table as SmackDown goes off the air for the first time in 2020. And I'm sitting here telling you it was nothing more than a suck down. A big old suck down shaped like a big fat poop hammer. First one of the year. First of many. As far as I'm concerned, we all know what's in store for us. Nothing is going to change. Everything is going to remain the same. And until we, as a society, get through this whole pandemic thing, I don't think wrestling will change at all. I'm still not really used to the whole Thunderdome environment. I don't dig the vibe that it gives. I miss the live interaction of the fans. I hate the piped in noise and the fake yes chants and the fake you sucks and all of the things that Vince is choreographing to make our brains feel like this is actually still what it used to be. But you ain't fooling me, and you guys ain't stupid, so I know he ain't fooling you as well. You know how else I know you guys ain't stupid? Because if you're still here at 32 minutes, you just watched one of the best wrestling reviews on the planet, and which means you're probably a subscriber. And if you're not, right now would be the time to join the Sledgeheads of Sledgehammer TV, as we are taking over. Once again, we are looking to make 2021 the biggest, baddest year Sledgehammer TV has ever had, and it starts with each and every one of you. I need you to hit the subscribe. I need you to hit the notification bell. I need you to share this video with anyone you think will enjoy it, or anyone you think needs to help us bring the hammer down on the WWE in this upcoming year. And most importantly, one of the best things you could do is smash that like button. It really helps this video get out there and get more viewers, so that we can get more members of our family that we are growing here, so that we can, as a unit, continue to hammer the shit out of the worst television show on TV. Monday and Friday, every week, these shows consistently show us how the WWE is not the premier wrestling company on the planet anymore. They are so bad at wrestling that they killed NXT. I didn't think it was possible, but Vince found a way to do it in under a year's time. And I need you guys now more than ever. Maybe this is the year we get over that 3,000 subscriber mark and start marching towards the 10K and beyond. But there's so many people on this platform. I know the competition is very, very fierce, and everybody's watching all the big name channels and all of the bigger guys than me. But that means you ain't having as much fun as the rest of us are having right here on Sledgehammer TV. Because I'm here to entertain you, because the WWE does not. Thank you all so very much. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Team Thor, the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion. Still, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball, the most important member of the team, as always. Each and every one of you, hit me up with your comments down in the comments section below. I will try to answer as many of them as I can before I go to sleep this evening. So I hope to see you guys there in the comments And thank you all once again for a tremendous year here on the channel. 2020 could have been a little bit better, but I appreciate all of you new viewers, all of you long timers that have been here from the beginning, everybody that's joined in between, and most especially those of you that watch each and every show, new and old, from beginning to end. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. So let's make 2021 a big year for all of us. Hopefully, we can get some normalcy back in our life at some point. We may still be a few months away from that, but hopefully, this year will be the year we all make the turnaround and get back to business as usual. And if you missed anything else on the channel, we did review Monday Night Raw this week. If you happen to miss it because it didn't go up until Wednesday, check it out. It'll be linked in the annotations up above. That, my friends, is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com.